Dark Genesis. The Erebus, humanity's first interstellar ship, was the pinnacle of innovation. Propelled by quantum slipstream technology, it could reach destinations previously thought unreachable. The destination was Kepler 1126c, a distant exoplanet orbiting a red dwarf star 40 light-years away. Its surface readings indicated it was barren but stable, with an atmosphere similar to Earth's in its primordial state. The goal was simple: establish a research station to study the planet's potential for future colonization. The 5-person crew of the Erebus was the best of the best. Captain Naomi Vega, a seasoned astronaut with nerves of steel. Dr. Elias Moreau, a xenobiologist with a passion for discovering life. Commander Alex Grayson, an engineer responsible for the ship's systems. Dr. Priya Shah, a geologist eager to study the planet's terrain. Lieutenant Marcus Reed, a military officer trained for security. As the Erebus slipped through space, its crew marveled at the vastness of the void. For months they lived in harmony, conducting experiments and preparing for their mission. But as they neared Kepler 1126c, things began to change. The ship's systems encountered glitches. Lights flickered, navigation data scrambled, and strange, unidentifiable noises echoed through the halls. "Probably just space dust interfering with our sensors," Grayson reassured the others, though his tone lacked conviction. Captain Vega remained silent, staring out at the planet that loomed larger every day. The descent to Kepler 1126c was rough. Atmospheric turbulence battered the Erebus, and alarms wailed as the ship fought to stabilize. When they finally landed, the crew breathed a collective sigh of relief. The landscape outside was hauntingly beautiful. A sea of black sand stretched endlessly under a crimson sky, broken only by jagged, obsidian-like spires that jutted from the ground. The air was breathable but heavy, charged with an electric energy that prickled their skin. "Let's make this quick," Vega ordered. As the team ventured out, Dr. Shah scanned the terrain. "This isn't natural," she murmured, pointing to the spires. "They're too uniform, too precise." Dr. Moreau's excitement grew as he examined strange, spiral-shaped formations in the sand. These patterns, they're organic, almost like fossilized microorganisms. But something felt off. The crew couldn't shake the sensation of being watched. 3 days into their mission, the crew discovered a massive cavern hidden beneath the black sand. Its entrance was adorned with symbols that glowed faintly in the dark, a language unlike anything they had ever seen. "This changes everything," Moreau whispered, his voice trembling with awe. Against Vega's better judgment, the team descended into the cavern. The walls pulsed with an eerie bioluminescent light, and the air was thick with an alien hum. Deep within, they found what appeared to be a temple. At its center stood a massive, crystalline structure that pulsed with an inner light. Moreau's instruments went haywire as he approached. "This is alive," he said, his voice filled with wonder. As he reached out to touch the crystal, Vega shouted, "Don't!" But it was too late. The moment Moreau's fingers grazed the surface, the crystal emitted a piercing scream that reverberated through the cavern. The walls shuddered, and the ground split open, revealing an abyss that seemed to stretch infinitely downward. Something stirred in the darkness. The crew fled back to the Erebus, but the damage was done. That night, as they tried to regroup, a strange phenomenon occurred. The lights dimmed, and a chilling wind swept through the ship. Whispers filled the air, indistinct but unmistakable. Grayson was the first to crack. "We've awakened something," he muttered, his eyes wide with terror. The next morning, Reed was found dead in his quarters. His body was emaciated, his face frozen in a silent scream. A black, tar-like substance oozed from his mouth and eyes. Panic set in. Moreau became increasingly erratic, muttering about voices in his head. "They're speaking to me," he said, scratching at his arms until they bled. "They want us to join them." Vega tried to maintain order, but the crew was unraveling. Shaw discovered that the black substance from Reed's body wasn't just biological. It was alive. "It's not from this planet," she said. "It's older. Older than Earth. Older than our sun. This isn't just an alien organism. It's a relic of something ancient. Something that existed before life as we know it." That night, Moreau disappeared. The crew found him in the cavern, standing before the crystal, his body contorted unnaturally. He turned to them, his eyes glowing with an unnatural light. "They are the architects," he said, his voice distorted. They shaped the stars, the planets. They were here long before us, and they will be here long after. Before anyone could react, Moreau's body dissolved into the black substance, which slithered toward the crystal and was absorbed. The crystal's light intensified, and the whispers grew louder. The crew fled, but the entity pursued them, an amorphous shadow that defied physics, moving through walls and solid matter. Back on the Erebus, Vega and the remaining crew fought to escape. The entity sabotaged their systems, plunging the ship into chaos. As the shadow closed in, Shaw made a desperate realization. The crystal, it's the key. If we destroy it, we might be able to stop this. Vega hesitated. If we destroy it, we could kill ourselves in the process. Better that than let this thing reach Earth, Shaw argued. Grayson rigged an explosive device while Vega and Shaw lured the entity back to the cavern. As the shadow consumed the walls around them, they set the charges and fled. The explosion was deafening. The cavern collapsed, and the ground above it caved in, swallowing the crystal and the entity. The surviving crew members, Vega, Shaw, and Grayson, barely made it back to the Erebus. The ship's systems stabilized, and for the first time in days, the whispers ceased. As they prepared for departure, Shaw noticed something on her arm, a tiny black vein pulsing faintly under her skin. "We're not safe," she whispered. Before Vega could respond, Grayson collapsed. His body convulsed, and black tendrils erupted from his skin, consuming him entirely. The entity wasn't gone, it was inside them. Vega activated the ship's self-destruct sequence. As the countdown began, she sent a final transmission to Earth. "This is Captain Naomi Vega of the Erebus. Do not come to Kepler 1126c. It's not empty, it's not safe, and it's not over." The Erebus erupted in a brilliant flash, leaving nothing but silence in its wake. Years later, a faint signal from Kepler 1126c reached Earth. It was garbled, distorted, but unmistakable. A voice. "Join us."